Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7, and welcome back to some more Among Us CAS edition. And we are back with creating another sim here. If you have missed the past so many episodes, videos, there is a link in the description below to the Among Us playlist, and also at the end of the video will also be an in-video link as well that you can click on. Now, as a little recap, this is not only just a create a sim, it is almost like a little guess-along game if you wish to participate. Basically, there are 4 imposters that were randomly decided by a wheel, and I created them with that in mind, but tried to not make it super obvious. There are things to be able to tell who is imposter and who is not, but again, I'm not trying to make them super obvious, but there is more than one way to tell. But today we are creating Peach here, which Peach is one of the colors that is technically not in the game, but like I had said, there was 6 colors that I made that were common suggestions, and they're actually in like a group photo that I seen quite often. So they were suggested a lot, and I'm honestly not too sure if it was like a fan who come up with these colors and then a lot of people started agreeing, or if maybe it was one of the team members who works in the game that actually suggested some of these colors, and these are some of them that picked up the most interest. I'm not quite sure. I just know that I hear these colors talked about a lot, and also seen it was one of the very first pictures that I ever seen that was mentioned of them potentially wanting them to be added. Now, this was the one that I was most excited out of the 6 new colors to create, was Peach. I don't know why, just something about the color Peach. I was like, oh, that would be really fun. I feel like I could have a lot of fun with her. Or him, because at the time I didn't know if it was going to be male or female, but obviously it is female. Which is why I jumped to her first. But yeah, so this is Peach, and she is quite adorable. And I really do love how she turned out, but I will say she's not my favorite. And I was sort of going in this thinking, she would turn out to be one of my favorites. But I still really love how she turned out. With her hair, because the fact that Peach is like a pink color that has an orange like underlay tint to it, sort of made it a hair color that was sort of harder to find in a hair color. A lot of them either were too more leaning orange or towards pink, or was like pretty dull. So I sort of knew that going in. I've done enough Create a Sim, and I play around in Create a Sim on my own and with my own Sims enough to have a pretty good idea usually what hair colors are in the game, unless I've added a bunch of new hairs, which I had added actually quite a few new hairs before recording these videos, but I had been in CAS enough prior to Peach to know there wasn't really, the options added didn't really have much of the colors that I wanted. I still could have tested them probably, but I really wanted to give her something along pigtails. I wanted her to be very cutesy, and I thought about the idea of trying that hair stuff that I have that's technically in the hat category. I really feel like I need to link these individual things on their own, because I've actually mentioned them quite a lot, and I actually really, really like them. Technically, they are meant for a specific hair, and I want to say it's Onto hair. I want to say that that's who has made these hairs that these are attached to. And with my editing software that I'm using, even if I was to make the screen look a little bit bigger for some reason, the first stages of my editing software anyway, because I edited a beginning part on one computer, and then the finalized editing happens on another computer, and that's where like more of the high quality stuff come out of. But this one I can't like actually make the video bigger and it not get blurry to a certain extent, so I can't actually see on the video. Anyway, yeah, I think it's Onto hairs, but I could be wrong. If I am wrong, I will correct myself at some point later on, or, or if I'm talking about another sim. If y'all would like links to those hairs that have that hat option on them to where you can have like extra streaks of color in the hair, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will definitely tell y'all where I got those. With it being Onto, like I'm pretty sure it is, I either got it from Patreon or from the Sims resources, because when it comes to Onto hairs and Onto stuff, that's the two places I've gotten them from, so I can at least go ahead and narrow you down that far. But I should be able to get a direct link unless it's on Patreon. Recently, because of my unemployment status and the fact that I've actually now lost unemployment, which is a long sort of story, but basically 4 days straight I was trying to get a hold of these people and could not get through. And eventually there was a cutoff date from a letter that I got, and I was trying to call and trying to get through, but nothing happened. So I have went through and temporarily canceled, basically. It's all of my Patreon stuff, so if it's behind a Patreon thing, I may just have to link their Patreon and let you know. But they may have allowed access to it to everyone by now. Not sure. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, I used that. I found one of the hairs that looked fine in this hair, because like I said, they're usually meant for certain hairs. And there's actually like some newer ones that come out that, I can't remember if these pigtails are actually a part of that series. But it's like a chromatic series, or they're calling it something like that. I think that's the word. Where there's 3 options. One is to change the texture. No, there's 4 options. One is to change like the texture almost. The other one is the roots. One is the ends, and one is streaks throughout the hair. And then I have some other just random ones that are meant to go with specific hairs. The chromatic ones can fit with any of them that have the chromatic symbol on them that you download. And it's like this little orb that is rainbow colored. So that will work with any of those hairs. But the other ones say they won't work with the other hairs, but they do. But yeah, so I did like a light pink hair and put some like orangish in there to sort of represent that peach color, because peach is like that pinky orange tone. And then when it came to her clothing, I was all over the place with her clothing. This video is partially longer than some of the others, and I may even shrink it down even more so than that. Who knows? But yeah, it's partially longer because of the clothing. With her, it was hard to find clothing that was peach colored without leaning too far pink or being not bright enough. And one top that I really wanted to use was not working with any of the bottoms that either had the color I wanted to work with or just clipped with the shirt. So it was a matter of problems with that. Eventually I settled with this one skirt because I liked it, and then went with a top to go with it. Ultimately, since the skirt was a little bit more pink, I did get this shirt that was a little bit lighter to sort of mute and tone down the skirt to represent, you know, peach being a little bit lighter than that and having more of that orange hue. Obviously the shirt's not orange, but it's like a beigeish type color. It's pretty close to pink. You can tell that it's got those orange, like almost yellow undertones. So that's why I went with it, and I was on and off about the socks that she has on right now. I eventually changed them to like these tights with cute little hearts, because I just wanted her to be sort of cutesy and adorable. And like I said, I do really love how she turned out. She didn't end up being like my favorite, because I thought peach was going to be pretty high up on my list of my favorites that came out of this. But I definitely think there's at least 3 or 5 of them that I would put above her. Even though I do really love how she turned out, and she's honestly adorable. I do hope that y'all like how she turned out, and definitely let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on her, and if you think she is crewmate or imposter. Again, there are little hints and tells here and there that will be able to let you know if you can figure them out. The part is figuring them out. Because again, I didn't want to make it too obvious, but I still wanted there to be ways to figure it out. And there also will be the little like 20-second clip at the end here to give you a little bit more hint. It is a little bit more of the final video that eventually reveals the imposters. So that might also help you make your decisions. So let me know down in the comments below, who are some of your top picks so far. Obviously there are some characters in the video that I haven't fully introduced you or seen their cast of, because obviously we're early on in the series here, so eventually you will see them and see them more closer up, and actually see like the traits that they get along with it in the video. But yeah, definitely let me know what you're thinking of who's imposter and who is not, and how you think about Peach in the end. I really love her, but there's some others that I love a little bit more. But I still really love her. She's absolutely adorable. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that lovely like button and all that lovely YouTube goodiness if you enjoyed the video and I'm looking forward to the series. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!